Deep in the heart of a vast desert, there existed a magical kingdom called Cactopia. This kingdom was unlike any other, for it was inhabited entirely by sentient cacti, each with its own unique personality and appearance. It was a kingdom of sentient cacti, each more prickly and proud than the next. The cacti of Cactopia took great pride in their thorns, which they believed were a symbol of their strength and resilience. Towering above them all was King Thornak, a majestic saguaro cactus. His presence was commanding and his stature was unmatched in the entire kingdom. He was renowned for his formidable size and the intimidating crown of thorns that adorned his head. This crown was not just a symbol of his royalty, but also a testament to his strength and authority.
True strength lies in power and appearance.
King Thornak believed that true strength lay in power and appearance. He often held grand assemblies where he would display his sharp spines and regal crown, reinforcing his belief to his subjects. He often boasted about his sharp spines, looking down upon those with fewer thorns. To him, the number and sharpness of one's thorns were the ultimate measure of a cactus's worth. The citizens of Cactopia, influenced by their king, also valued sharp spines and tough exteriors. They believed that the more intimidating their appearance, the more respect they would command. They strutted around, flaunting their prickly armor, and mocked those who dared to be different. Any cactus that did not conform to this standard was often ridiculed and ostracized. Life in Cactopia revolved around thorns, and woe betide any cactus who dared to challenge this thorny status quo. The kingdom's culture was deeply rooted in the belief that thorns were the ultimate symbol of power and prestige. The kingdom, under Thornak's rule, had grown rather prickly in temperament too. The cacti had become more competitive and less compassionate, always striving to outdo one another in their thorny displays. Amidst the prickly populace of Cactopia lived Danny, a small, unassuming barrel cactus. Unlike his brethren, Danny had no spines to boast of. His smooth green skin was a stark contrast to the thorny exteriors of his peers.
They call me Soft Danny and Spineless Wonder.
Danny was often ridiculed for his lack of spikes. His peers called him Soft Danny and Spineless Wonder. But Danny was different in other ways too. He was kind and compassionate. Danny believed in helping others. He didn't care much for thorny displays of power. Danny believed in the strength of character, the power of kindness. Little did he know, his gentle nature would soon be tested. Little did the cacti of Cactopia know, true strength comes from within. One scorching afternoon, a menacing shadow fell upon Cactopia. The sun blazed down mercilessly, casting long, eerie shadows across the barren land. It belonged to Venomax, a monstrous scorpion the size of a small hill. His exoskeleton gleamed under the harsh sunlight, and his pincers clicked ominously. Venomax was notorious for his venomous sting and insatiable appetite for cacti. His sting could paralyze even the mightiest of creatures, and his hunger knew no bounds. He had terrorized countless desert kingdoms before, leaving a trail of fear and destruction in his wake. Entire settlements had crumbled under his wrath, and the once thriving oases had turned into desolate wastelands. His arrival sent shivers down the spines of even the thorniest cacti. The air was thick with tension, and the cacti could almost feel the ground tremble beneath his weight.
I am Venomax, and I hunger for cacti. His voice echoed through the desert, a chilling proclamation of his intent.
The news of Venomax's arrival spread through Cactopia like wildfire. Whispers and rumors flew from one cactus to another, each tale more terrifying than the last. Panic ensued, and the once proud cacti trembled in fear. The wind howled through the desert, carrying with it the scent of impending doom. Their sharp spines, once symbols of power, now seemed utterly useless against the might of Venomax. The cacti felt exposed and vulnerable, their defenses inadequate. Even King Thornak, with all his formidable thorns, felt a pang of fear. His kingdom had faced many threats, but none as dire as this. The kingdom held its breath, bracing for the worst. The stillness of the desert was a stark contrast to the turmoil within, as every cactus prepared for the inevitable confrontation with Venomax. King Thornak, determined to uphold his image of strength, decided to confront Venomax alone.
I will defeat this beast with my own spines.
The other cacti, relieved that they wouldn't have to face Venomax, cheered for their king despite their fear. No one dared to challenge Thornak's decision, even if it seemed reckless. Thornak, armed with his sharpest spines and his overinflated ego, approached Venomax. The ground trembled with each step the scorpion took. Thornak, now dwarfed by the sheer size of Venomax, realized the gravity of his situation. His spines, which had always instilled fear in others, seemed insignificant against the monster before him. But pride kept Thornak from turning back. As King Thornak prepared for a potentially disastrous confrontation, Dany stepped forward. He proposed a different solution negotiation.
Violence is not always the answer. Perhaps we can reason with Venomax, understand why he's here.
The other cacti scoffed at Dany's suggestion.
Negotiate? With that monster? He only understands the language of thorns. You, with your lack of spines, think you can achieve what my thorns cannot?
Even King Thornak, despite his predicament, couldn't help but smirk, but Dany stood firm, believing in the power of dialogue. He knew that true strength lay in courage, not in the sharpness of one's spines. Ignoring the scorn and ridicule, Dany bravely approached Venomax. The monstrous scorpion, surprised by this seemingly insignificant cactus, bellowed,
What do you want, little one? Come to be my afternoon snack?
Dany, unfazed by Venomax's intimidating size, addressed the scorpion with respect.
Mighty Venomax, we understand your strength. We only ask why you've come to our kingdom.
Venomax, taken aback by Dany's courage and composure, listened. Dany, in his calm and disarming way, discovered the reason for Venomax's aggression. The monstrous scorpion was not there to terrorize, he was simply desperate. A severe drought had plagued Venomax's home, leaving him with no choice but to search for a new water source. Cactopia's oasis was the only one for miles. Upon learning of Venomax's plight, Dany devised a plan. He knew that the survival of both Cactopia and Venomax's scorpion colony depended on cooperation and mutual understanding. He proposed a deal. Cactopia would share its precious water resources with Venomax and his scorpion colony in exchange for their protection. This way, both communities could thrive in the harsh desert environment.
We can help each other. We can coexist peacefully. Together, we can create a bond that will ensure the safety and prosperity of both our peoples.
Venomax, touched by Dany's empathy and genuine concern for his colony's well-being, and impressed by his clever solution, readily agreed. He saw the wisdom in Dany's proposal and recognized the potential for a harmonious future. The monstrous scorpion, who had seemed so terrifying just moments ago, now appeared almost gentle. His fierce exterior masked a creature capable of understanding and compassion, and so the crisis was averted, not through might or thorns, but through compassion and understanding. The two communities began to work together, sharing resources and protecting each other from the harsh desert elements. Dany, the spineless wonder, had achieved what the sharpest spines in Cactopia couldn't. His bravery and wisdom had forged a new path for his people. He had saved his kingdom not by fighting, but by extending a hand of friendship. This act of kindness and diplomacy would be remembered for generations to come. The citizens of Cactopia watched in stunned silence as Dany, their unlikely hero, returned to them. They cheered and celebrated, knowing that their future was now brighter and more secure thanks to his actions. King Thornak, humbled and ashamed of his initial arrogance, approached Dany. He apologized for his previous mockery, admitting that he had been wrong.
Dany, you have shown us all the true meaning of strength. You are the bravest cactus I know.
Dany, ever humble, simply smiled. He knew that true strength came not from physical attributes, but from the goodness within. The citizens of Cactopia, inspired by Dany's courage and Thornak's humility, erupted in cheers. They finally understood that appearances could be deceiving, and that true strength resided not in thorns, but in character. From that day forward, King Thornak shared his rule with Dany. They governed Cactopia together, emphasizing compassion and understanding. Thornak learned to value wisdom and diplomacy over brute force. He even had some of his sharper spines trimmed, symbolizing his newfound humility. Cactopia flourished under their joint rule. The cacti learned to appreciate their differences and value the strength that came from within. The kingdom, once obsessed with thorns and toughness, was now a haven of kindness and cooperation. Dany's story became a legend in Cactopia, passed down through generations of cacti. It served as a constant reminder that true strength came in all shapes and sizes. It taught them that courage could be found in the most unexpected places.
The tale of Danny, the spineless wonder, became a beloved bedtime story for young cacti, teaching them valuable lessons about kindness, courage, and the importance of looking beyond appearances. The story became a part of Cactopia's identity, shaping their culture and their values.
And so, the kingdom of Cactopia, once a place where thorns and toughness reigned supreme, learned that true strength bloomed from within. They learned that even the smallest and seemingly weakest could be the bravest of them all.
The tale of Danny, the spineless wonder, served as a timeless reminder that true strength lay not in physical attributes, but in the courage of one's heart.
The legacy of Danny lived on, inspiring generations of cacti to embrace their differences, celebrate their unique strengths, and face their fears with courage and compassion. For in the heart of every cactus, beneath the prickly exterior, bloomed the potential for true strength. And that, as Danny had proven, was a force more powerful than any thorn.